creative journey. It's easy to get lost, but don't worry, you'll lift off. Sometimes you just need a creative pep talk.
Hey, you're listening to the Creative Pep Talk podcast. I'm your host, Andy J. Pizza. Imposter Syndrome. What's it all about? I mean, why do so many of us feel like imposters? I mean, honestly, come on, look around. Do you really even have to ask? The creative competition has never been this steep, and it just seems to be getting rapidly more steep by the second. It's like a treadmill with a stuck incline button, and pretty soon it feels like you're trying to run up a wall. So what do? You push harder. You try to make stuff better, faster, stronger, but no matter how hard you push, there just always seems to be someone showing up and outdoing you, creatively speaking. You know, I've struggled personally with my identity as a creator for as long as I can remember, all the way back into first grade, honestly. I remember those days. I was the artsy kid in class, and man, on every creative assignment, I got one of those sweet retro stickers that teachers used to put on there for like exemplary work. You know, the super job or well done. And I remember feeling like, man, I know who I am. I'm the artsy kid. And I think that's the last time that I felt certain of pretty much anything, because there I was living the creative dream. And then guess who shows up? Justin. Yeah, that's right.
It's just Justin.
Oh, you don't know Justin? No, not Justin Timberlake. I didn't go to school with him in Memphis, I believe he's from. No, this is a different Justin, but you know this Justin. This Justin draws a Chicago Bulls logo in seconds perfectly, and even adds a little hoop nose ring to, you know, just up the cool points. Man, it was the 90s. You couldn't compete with that. And by the way, the Chicago Bulls logo doesn't have a hoop nose ring. I know that you think it does, but it actually doesn't. That's just the Mandela effect. Your brain reverse engineering this thing. And guess who created that Mandela effect? None other than Justin. That's just the kind of cultural shockwaves this artist is responsible for. This guy showed up, and all of a sudden, this is the artsy kid in class, and I just didn't even know who I was anymore. Now, luckily, we moved to a different state when I went to middle school, far away from artsy Justin. And when I went to art class, stoked to finally reclaim my throne as the art kid, guess what? You're never going to believe this. Guess who was there? No, it wasn't Justin. It was three Justins.
It's just Justin.
These inhumanely talented artists followed me everywhere I went. And I remember in high school just kind of like longing to go to college where it would be just all creative. I knew I was going to go for design or illustration or something like that. I'd be in a creative program, and, you know, I could finally escape that. But guess what? You probably already know. I went to school for design and illustration, and turns out the whole freaking student body is just Justin's.
It's just Justin.
Now that I'm a professional artist, I've shown all them Justins wrong, right? Wrong. Because I whip out my phone and trying to just get a little reprieve from the imposter syndrome and start doing the mind-numbing scroll through Instagram, and you're like, oh, a good start, a nice little cute dog. That's giving me some little dopamine hit that I need. And oh, look, another creative superstar.
It's just Justin.
And another.
It's just
and
Justin.
another.
It's just Justin.
And another.
It's just Justin. It's just Justin.
Wait. Hold on a second. This is different. What's this? Who made this one? Let me click through and see who this artist even is. Oh, right. Of course.
It's just...
Oh, you don't know? Sure you do.
It's just...
Justin in binary. Yeah, that's right. AI Justin, and there's no competing with this guy. No amount of effort will ever steal your confidence when comparing yourself to the AI ARTMAGEDDON that is on its way. You don't stand a chance against AI Justin. There's no out-creating this guy. You're not going to make stuff harder, better, faster,
stronger than AI Justin. You've been replaced. Hold on. Have I been replaced by an AI podcast host?
But hold on a second. I actually think that there is some hope within all of this rapid change. I want to share something that has really helped my creative confidence lately, and it's this: Kanye West's massive dip in streaming numbers. Okay, that doesn't make sense, but I promise if you stick around, it will. And if you are struggling to find any grounding or to stabilize your creative confidence in the rapidly changing times that we're living through, stay tuned, because I want to share how building your creative confidence, not on working harder, better, faster, and stronger, or anything that you can do for that matter, is the answer, but rather, for me, the game changer is building your creative confidence on who you are. And I will give you a hint. You're not a creator. You're not the art kid. That's not who you are. You are something so much more than that. Let's go. Hey, real quick, before we get into the thick of this episode, I just want to let you know we still have some 2023 calendars. They're currently 30% off in our online shop. Go to creativepeptalk.etsy.com. They're still good all year round. If you haven't got your calendar for 2023 and you want to stay pepped up with a new Creative Pep Talk message each and every month, go check it out. It helps support the show, and I'm really proud of this thing. So check it out, creativepeptalk.etsy.com. Chapter 1, build your creative confidence on who you are. Like I said, the number one thing that's given me a boost in my creative confidence and been kind of a psychological salve for my perpetual imposter syndrome as of late has been Kanye West's streaming numbers recently taking a beating. Now, if you don't know, or you're a robot listening 200 years in the future, let me save you a micro nano second of a Google search and just clue you in that lately, rapper, producer Kanye West has been doing a kind of, public death spiral nosedive out in the media, saying absolutely repulsive anti-Semitic things and all kinds of other unhinged junk. And, first of all, regardless of who the person is, I want to just say that I take no pleasure in watching someone publicly unravel like this. It's just kind of painful to watch, especially while they're in the public eye, and then even more so when they are an artist. Artists are, in my opinion, they mostly seem to be pretty sensitive souls. They have a sensitivity that gives them this kind of artistic temperament, and the gauntlet of fame seems to be kind of a torture chamber specially designed to break these sorts of sensitive artist types. Now, there's probably a lesson in there on its own, but that's not the one that we're exploring today. Like I said, I hate seeing what's happening to this man that clearly needs help, and it's a tragedy to see a creator hurting like this. And at the same time, it's even more of an injustice how he has hurt people. So why is it that his stream's taking a massive hit because of the things that he's saying? Why does that give me some kind of hope as a creator in our modern times? I'll explain that in just a second, but to do so, we're going to have to take a bit of a wild ride to get there. So I promise no matter how tangential this next bit is going to feel, it is going to all come back to that if you just trust me and go along for the ride. All right, let's zoom out of our current precarious moment that we're finding ourselves in, and let's zoom into a little escape. Let's zoom into a simpler time. Ah, yes, 2007, the year of Pirates of the Caribbean 3 and the art world being turned upside down because Radiohead let you pay whatever you want for their album. The controversies. It was a different time. It was a simpler time. Now, 2007, let's talk about a blockbuster smash of that year, Michael Bay's Transformers. I'm sure you've heard of it, but do you know Michael Bay? Sure you do. Google him. Big man, big head. If you in that Google image search, you probably see him sat next to his two big, huge, mastiff dogs. Big movies, big explosions. You show me pictures of big guy Michael Bay and his big movies and say, this guy made that movie. And I'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. This made that. It totally adds up. Like, show me his explosive Bad Boys with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come?
And The Rock.
If you submit what The Rock is cooking.
Not that Rock.
Mr. Director, you have a very serious problem.
Yeah, that Rock. And you're definitely not going to want to close your eyes for this next one either.
And I don't want to miss a thing.
Definitely makes sense that this big guy makes meteor-sized box office smash hits like Armageddon. Massive Michael Bay, that's the kind of guy who makes those movies. The connection between the artist and the art makes total sense. Now, before you go thinking that I'm saying only large mammals can make massive movies, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not some kind of simple-minded, inhumane, toxic, masculine guy saying that there'd be something wrong if a man of smaller stature made these big movies and, suggest that he must be overcompensating for something. I'm not saying that at all. Actually, on the contrary, I would say that, sure, just like any red-blooded American, I like when the art and the artist match up, like big Michael Bay and his big, huge, explosive movies. But also, I'm not just an American, I'm also an artist. And you know that there is nothing that us artsy-fartsy types like more than a good mismatch. Come on. If a small guy made big movies like that, oh man, we would be loving that contrast. It just gives us an excuse to whip out words like juxtaposition. Oh yes, the juxtaposition of that mismatch was quite choice. There's nothing finer in art circles than an opportunity to throw out the word juxtaposition. In fact, maybe today, like Pee-wee's Playhouse, today our word is going to be juxtaposition. Now, while the mainstream needs all the pieces to add up nicely in a nice matching package, as an artiste, I love a tasteful mismatch as much as anybody else. Take indie art rockers, the Flaming Lips. Like, I am endlessly fascinated by the Flaming Lips and their frontman, Wayne Coyne. Why? No, it's not just the technicolor psychedelic menagerie of trippy and strangely soothing blips and boops of their music, or even that they do these crazy out of this world circus tent kind of rock shows from another dimension. It's not just that. It's that when you lean into the lyrics or you listen to Coyne in interviews, talking about himself and the music and what's it all about, you start realizing that all this psychedelia is coming from someone who's mostly been sober the whole time the band has been in existence. And then you hear that this psychonaut kind of shaman is pretty much a staunch atheist. And mismatches like that, we don't reject them. We lean in. Like, artists know that these mismatches make us lean in and ask why, like, what is going on here? It's just even more interesting when it doesn't add up. Or you take someone like Robert Smith, the frontman from The Cure, and you take one look at this goth-looking chap and you're like, okay, I'm ready to cry, except they start playing and all of a sudden they're playing close to me and you're dancing. And you're like, well, okay, why is this guy making me dance with this dancey rock music? And he starts spewing out emo poetry from those black painted lips. And now you're dancing and you're crying and you're like, what is going on? That, my friends, I think is art. Like, that is the mismatch, that art, that's juxtaposition, baby. Okay, so great, Andy. Thanks for the art lesson. Wow, you really made a valid point. We love art and artists that match, and we love when they mismatch. Boom. We love pretty much both options, every option there is. Wow, very insightful. Thanks for creating this podcast. No, that's not how it goes. Yes, we love the match, we love the mismatch, but it doesn't mean we love all possible options in how the art relates to the artists. There are, of course, other scenarios. Let's look at two more artists side by side and compare how the art versus the artist can go wrong in so many ways, or how it can mismatch in not interesting ways, but disturbing ones. Let's go back even further to a simpler time than 2007. Let's go to 1994. So in 1994, there was probably a moment when there were fresh reruns of Cosby Show being played. Maybe the first time they were ever a rerun. It ended in 1992. So there was probably times where you could have been either sat at home watching reruns of The Cosby Show and seeing Bill Cosby spewing off poignant moral imperatives to his beloved daughter, maybe even on the ethics of dating and how to do that well. And somewhere in that same world at that same moment in 1994, you could have been watching Trent Reznor with greased down jet black hair, decked out in leather, playing live on stage as the frontman of Nine Inch Nails, creepily whisper singing, "I will make you hurt." Like, that could have happened, that you could have been in either of those spots. Now, if you've kept up at all with what the creator Bill Cosby has admitted to in court in terms of abuse, let alone what he's been accused of by countless women, you probably had a similar reaction to that scene that I just described from 1994 that I did. You probably recoiled a bit inside at the relationship of that artist to their art, right? And I don't mean the creeper on stage whispering he will make you hurt, but I'm talking about the inauthentic relationship between the artist Cosby and the art that he made on the Cosby Show. You can't show me this man and show me that art and expect me to buy it. And yet, before you start thinking or wondering if I'm saying that you need to be somehow a saint in order to be an artist, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that to me, the relationship between the art and the artist matters. But you don't have to be a saint. I mean, when I think about it, I think like Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails, like if he was actually found out to be a serial killer, I'm not even sure that would affect his streams very much. I mean, come on, there he is up there loudly whispering. Yeah, that's right. Loud whisper, another juxtaposition. He's loudly, creepily whispering it up there from on stage that he will make you hurt. And in a way, you'd be like, yeah, makes sense. It all adds up. Now, I'm exaggerating to make a point, but I do think there is some truth in that. Now, before we move on, let me just kick it in reverse for just a second. Back to Michael Bay for just 1 second. I want to address one other thing of something that just doesn't add up for me while I have this microphone and address something with Michael Bay. Back to 2007. Yeah, that's right. Back to 2007's smash hit Transformers. Man, I remember it like it was yesterday. Sitting at the cinema, snarfing down popcorn. Poor slob never knew what was about to hit him. His whole childhood dreams were about to crumble. As I'm sat there, ready, about to watch Transformers do their thing out in the real world on the big screen. And man, I just freaking loved the Transformers cartoon and the Transformers toys. I just could not have been more excited. But oh no, my childhood dreams were crushed. Yeah, that's right. This isn't a Michael Bay love letter. Mr. Bay, I have a giant bone to pick with you. A bone big enough to satisfy both of your huge Mastiff dogs. And it's this. I was so excited to see those cars change into robots. And when that first one started to transform, I thought, man, here it is. This is the best part. It's good. Here it comes. But what did I see? I saw a car, and then I saw some breakneck, twirly Jim Carrey in the Mask, Tasmanian devil whirlwind of CGI crap, and then ta-da, big giant alien robot. Oh, I was ruined. Why? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because the way that the car turns into the robot is the point of the freaking movie. It's not about the cars and it's not about the robots. The movie is called Transformers. It's how they transform. It's the whole thing. If you get that part wrong, if you phone that part in, you've missed the whole freaking point of what makes that property so interesting, or at least what made it so interesting to me as a kid. You know, the movie is called Transformers. It's about how I relate to how this car relates to the robot. It's how they relate to each other that I relate to. In the cartoon or the toys, unlike the movie, it was this unimaginable thing that would happen where they would transform before your eyes in a way that was both surprising and made total sense. You could see where each wheel and bumper added together and transformed into this totally new thing. Like magic. The magic was how they authentically folded themselves into this new creation, each piece of themselves miraculously becoming something new and unexpected. That was the magic of it. You can't show me this car and then a gulf of computer-generated BS in that robot and think I'm going to buy it. No, I'm calling BS on the whole dang thing. Oh, did you hear about there's a new Transformers Beast Wars movie. Are you excited about that? Well, who's directing? Is it Michael Bay-S himself? Because if it is, I'm out. All right, I'm clearly just joking around. I'm not going to have a truly human, authentic relationship with a robot, no matter how hard that CGI goes. And neither are you. And that is exactly why I'm not that worried about the oncoming AI Artmageddon. Because as epic as it might be, epic enough to be directed by Michael Bay-S himself, I am not worried about it because ultimately it's not even about the artist's relationship to the work that matters for me. The work is the relationship that I have with the artist. And when I put that AI art prompt in and the computer does its swirly, whirly CGI, BS magic, and then spits back art at me, it doesn't matter how hard it goes, how much better it gets, how much faster it can create, or how technically strong that work is. The art will never do the trick for me because it's not about how good the art is. It's about how well it connects me to another human. And this is why Kanye's streaming numbers taking a hit kind of gives me hope. Because at the very same moment, our culture is worried that a robot is going to end art as we know it and take our jobs. Kanye's streaming numbers tells us that we're having a terribly difficult time relating to art that's made by an inhumane creator.